Hey everyone, it's Janet McCandless. Welcome to the Music Tree Time to Begin Unit 3 review. I'm going to play through the songs of Unit 3 and I'm also going to go through the review songs that were given at the end of Unit 3 activities. But first, I want to show the most important part of activities that we had in the last unit. This is thinking across the octave. So we're thinking of music in terms of more than just 7 notes at a time. Please make sure that you fill this out. Okay, so we learned about slurs, which are articulation marks. Oh, I want to give you a little bit of extra information about slurs, just because it's kind of fun. Slurs mean different things when you're using different instruments. If I'm singing and I see a slur in the music, it means that I'm singing one syllable to possibly many notes. So let me think of something. Gloria in excelsis Deo. So if I had seen this articulated, I would have had a slur over cell, and I would have also had a little slur over day, because those were the two times that I had more than one note sung to one syllable. Now, in violin, slurs can indicate bowing, so they have a totally different function. So it's really important, no matter what instrument you're playing, that you learn what slurs actually serve in that particular context. In piano, they serve as articulation marks. So this is what we learned. We learned about playing nice and legato. Gently roll, little boat, on and on, bob and float. And then we have kites. See them fly in the sky, dip and dive way up high. Now I had somebody ask a question. My keyboard isn't 88 keys big, so how can I play these songs? Just play them wherever you can. I know that you might not be able to start in the same octave that I do. I'm starting in the octave that's actually indicated by the little map at the bottom of the page, so that you can play it with the accompaniment, and like you could actually do it two people sitting at the same piano. So that's why I'm using that, why I'm starting in different octaves. But you just do whatever works for you. That's what's important. All right, now on to the challenge of the 8VA. One octave higher, one octave lower. Even when I'm up a tree, all the birds look down on me. Now I hope that you remembered to continue to swing and say the rhythm of these songs before you actually played them. That's very important. I'm not going to play Climbing again, because even though it looks different, it sounds the same. Moving on to Hang Gliding. Let's see. Run and jump now if you dare, then glide up on silent air. My contrasts weren't very strong. I hope that you were able to do a little bit stronger contrasts. We'll talk a little bit later about developing a really truly musical forte touch. It has to do really with your forward movement this way rather than downward movement on the keys. If I come down on a key, it's going to be like that, even when I do it with my finger. But if I have forward movement, what it means is that I have an attack with a little bit, it's like a velvet hammer. Yeah, so then I have control over how loudly I play it, but also it rings instead of being struck, which is what you hear a lot of times. So here's a full tone, a musical tone from this forward action, but we'll talk more about that later. All right, Summer Clouds. It goes like this. Looking at a summer sky, clouds are drifting gently by. One of the things that you're encouraged to do in this song, this is page 27, it says in the little gold bar on the right, it says, before playing, play silently on the keyboard cover, saying the finger numbers. And then it says, will the notes within each slur sound smooth and connected? So this is something that I'm going to just demonstrate, that you can actually just do it up here. You can just, without having your fingers on the keys at all, You can actually go through the entire piece. This is a great piece of mental preparation. If you ever feel like with a more difficult piece that you lack confidence, doing something like that, it is pure muscle memory that you are building. It has no attachment to tone. And so this is something that is a very, very powerful practicing tool that I encourage you to remember for the future. Okay, finally we have Clara played all day long. Oh, all of Robert's finest songs. That was all written in the same space, and I completely almost played it an octave lower because I wasn't thinking. So, a good tip. Always think when you play. It's really hard to play and talk at the same time. It's a very bad habit I'm showing you right now, so I'm going to try to stop that. Little piece of trivia about the Schumanns. If you know about Clara and Robert Schumann, she was a very gifted pianist. Her father was a great teacher, and he wanted Clara to have a famous concert pianist career, and Robert ruined it all. He came in to study playing, and he felt like his fingers weren't strong enough, so he developed this little contraption to strengthen his fourth finger and ended up injuring it so badly that it was paralyzed and he could no longer play. And then he started writing music. But Clara was his great love and his great obsession. And if you look at his music, he didn't ever study composition formally. And so there's a lot of flaws that are, it's considered to be compositional flaws within his music. But the flaws, many people feel, make the music even more beautiful. And during the time when her father had forbidden him to see her, he threw Robert out of the house when he found out that Robert was in love with her, because Robert was really old enough to be her father. And Clara's father just felt like this was so inappropriate. And he threw him out and even tried to take them to court to prevent them from marrying, even though Clara was had achieved her majority. Robert wrote many songs during this time where he encoded her name into the piece. And so you can find the Clara theme, its little 5-note theme, in many of his pieces during this time. Unfortunately, Robert's family didn't have a great mental health history. He later went a little crazy, tried to drown himself, ended up in an insane asylum. For the rest of his life, he was really depressed. And Clara had to support herself and their 8 children with playing the piano. And that's what she did. So that's the story of the Schumanns, and if you didn't know about that already, quick synopsis. Now let's move on to the last piece. Okay, so we took the same pattern of notes as the Schumanns, but we're moving down the keyboard. So I'm not going to speak anymore. I'm just going to say the rhythm. Crew is up. That's not right. Crew is up. No more sleep. We are diving way down deep. Make sure you check your maps before you play. These music maps. I haven't seen them for a while. I need to review them. Okay, I demonstrated the way that we do these warm-ups. Let's try them one more time. And then I'm moving to. Now, I'm going to make sure I get this one right. And moving down to. That is not right. There. Look at your maps. Okay, finally, we have to go back to Unit 2 and play pages 16, 17, and 18 in different ways. So I'm going to put my book here so I can mark it. So 16, I play on A and F. So it goes, climbing up row by row, from the top we'll see the show. I did not realize that you're looking at me. Let's look at the keyboard. Circus Clown. We are going to play it on D and C. Circus Clown is lots of fun. Laughs and jokes with everyone. And then finally, I need to point and count the rhythm of Bluebird. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 1, 1, 2. And that takes us to the end of Unit 3. I will see you in Unit 4.